Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pearls in Politics podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. I really hope you enjoyed our last series on mental health. I understand that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and our episodes aired after that, but I felt that it was so imperative for mental health to be discussed, for us to understand the issues and concerns and also the resources available to us as men, women, children, and for our veterans. We are going to pivot once again, because that's what we do here. And we understand that knowledge is power at Pearls in Politics podcast. We understand that health is power. Well, you know what else is power, my political pearls? Money. So today we're going to start our series on financial literacy, so that way we know what opportunities are available and how we can make the best choices for our money. And today we're starting with home ownership. And we have Dwanyetta Nicole Brazil, who is a real estate broker here in the great state of Illinois. Welcome, Mrs. Brazil.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. For anyone, of course, you don't know, this is my rider right here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I know this is a professional setting and we're talking about home ownership, but Mrs. Brazil, we call her Nicole. Words cannot. I just cannot even begin to talk about how wonderful you are,
Aww.
How beautiful you are, and how much you mean to me. But yes, we are going to talk about home ownership today.
Yes. Well, and same sentiments here. Like, love you. I know God makes no mistakes. This was not an era that we have crossed paths and now have been friends for, oh my gosh, it's been almost a decade. Over a decade. Yeah.
It's been a decade now.
And I mean, from getting married to having kids and all that stuff in between. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this platform and what you're doing for our culture. I'm really excited about that, and I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. So today we're going to talk about home ownership.
Yes.
And you are my subject matter expert on home ownership. So please tell us where you work.
Yes. I am a real estate broker with Renee Lewis Realty, LLC in Belleville, Illinois. And she's actually been in business for since 2007. So I have one of the greatest mentors. We are one of the few, if not the only, Black-owned brokerages, female Black-owned brokerage in this area. So I'm super excited to be with her. There was nowhere else I was going after getting my license. I had kind of she's kind of been my mentor. I've been her mentee for, I don't know, probably a decade now. So I've had the pleasure of doing that. And now I'm all in and I'm loving it.
Okay, that is wonderful. How long have you been a real estate broker?
Well, I actually received my license back in September of last year, believe it or not. I've just been blessed enough to hit the ground running. I have helped either led or been a part of dozens of deals and getting families into homes, people from our 89 blocks, helping them to either get investment properties or buy their first homes. And it has just been, I can't even tell you, it has been the best feeling, like the best feeling ever, to be able to be a part of one of the biggest transactions you'll ever make. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited about that. I love it.
So what has your journey in life been that led you to this space? Like when did you say, you know what, I want to be a real estate broker and this is why?
Yes. Well, oddly enough, this decision was made for me as a little girl. I was going to be advocating for my people in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Many moons ago, I didn't know if it was going to be kind of like my sister here and be an attorney and advocating for my people, or if it was going to be what genre, where it was going to go. As a little girl, though, I got to watch my father, who has his own business, Lee Construction, who does just amazing work. So
her father, Mr. John Lee, is a beast. You hear me? He can turn anything into the most beautiful space, commercial, home. I mean, I just can't. You should see his work, okay?
Yes.
We'll get to that.
See his work, okay?
Yes.
See his work, know that. But as a little girl, I would go with him on these job sites, and I would think he was like a magician because we would go in and what seemingly looked like just some regular something, he would turn into the most amazing. His tile work. I remember one house in particular that he did in Missouri, and the tile work was so immaculate that I still remember it. Like, I remember it, every little detail. And so I just remember thinking, he loves this. I want to be like him. I want to do something that I love. But I knew I was going to need to be connected to people. I knew that my place was doing something for the people, for my people, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But I wanted to also be able to work with my father in some way. And so real estate has allowed me to fulfill all of that, to advocate and help facilitate the biggest purchase that you'll ever make, most times, because you can buy a car, they depreciate. Listen, people, quit going out buying these cars thinking it's really, there's no return on that investment. But in real estate, you have a return on your investment. So I had this opportunity to, now my dad comes with me sometimes. I get to talk to him and pick his brain because he's amazing at what he does. And so real estate apparently chose me many moons ago. I went years ago and actually took the class, and I let fear get the better of me. And I did not take my test. And this had to have been probably 20 years ago. I kid you not. And I've been shadowing Angel like literally ever since, like a little puppy dog following behind her. And I'm so happy that God's timing is perfect, and I'm now getting to do what I want to do and what I absolutely love. It has its challenges, but there's nothing like getting to that closing table. There's nothing like getting to that closing table, especially with people that didn't think it was ever possible. So I'm excited, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Now this I love. The passion, the excitement, the joy, because I've seen you in many spaces. But this right here, I can't stop smiling. This is just amazing. So with that being said, tell our viewing and our listening audience, why should we own a home?
Absolutely. Why? I want to backtrack just a little because something you do on every episode that you didn't do with me, and I couldn't wait to share this story, was the how we met.
Okay. See, I thought you... Okay, go ahead.
So, no, I want to share how we met because, again, you never really realize until later in life how people really impact your life, right? So, Kahala and I crossed paths when I was working at American Furniture. Mm-hmm. She was the St. Clair County circuit clerk for many years, and she was buying furniture. And I saw this beautiful young Black lady kind of walking around, and it didn't seem like anybody was helping her, but I knew she had been in before. And I remember thinking, because it was commission. So, in commission sales, listen, you don't pounce on other people's clients. You don't do that. But I remember seeing you, and I remember having an opportunity to assist you and kind of looking for some things. And long story short, the store ended up closing. Mm-hmm. And I remember you coming back around to me and you said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, but God got it. And lo and behold, I ended up getting the position with St. Clair County Circuit Clerk's office. And what you don't realize is, and I think I know I probably shared this with you, but that opportunity and getting that network going and just being in those areas that I was in the positions of leaderships as well as team members, and having the opportunity to meet people like you and Mama Cruz, as we call her, and having an opportunity to shine in a space that I didn't even think was really open to me at that time. I was a single mom, and it just really helped to catapult getting me in the direction that I needed to go in. And sometimes all you need is that one person to give you that opportunity, getting that management opportunity, having a team to assist in leading. Those all those skill sets from there, I carry that over. I carry that right over into what I do now. I realized that I was able to go from these people to teach them in one way, and now I'm teaching in another way. I'm teaching my buyers that there's an opportunity out there. You don't have to think that it's impossible. You know, sometimes, especially coming from where we come from, you come from an environment that the home buying process feels distant. It feels like
it's a
something
lofty goal.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's unattainable. It's something that we can't do. When it is, it's very much so attainable. Why should you get a home? Why keep renting? Why keep renting?
That's right.
I mean, think about it like this. What you're doing is investing in someone else. Start investing in you. Put your money in you, because you can't, let's say some catastrophe happens later. You're just paying rent to someone, right? You're paying rent to a landlord, and hopefully a good landlord. They take care of their things. However, if some catastrophe happened and you needed some money, you would have to go take a loan out. You'd have to go help your family have it. But if you have a home that you've been investing in, that builds equity. So now building equity in something of your own that eventually you can own. So you can go draw that $5,000 out in that equity. It's yours. Another reason you want to own is when you're renting, you're limited, right? You can't paint here. You can't have a dog.
No holes in the wall.
Right.
Fill them up when you leave.
Right. Yeah. So you don't get to, when you rent, a lot of times you don't get to create a home. There's a difference in having someone to live and having a home. And when you get to purchase your own, you can put as many pictures on the wall. If you want 4 cats and 2 dogs, that's your prerogative. You can do that. It gives you an opportunity to have control, to have autonomy that you wouldn't have if you're renting. When you take the opportunity to purchase your own home, there's a sense of accomplishment. And then my thing is, there's something to leave your children.
Absolutely. A legacy.
Exactly. I remember when I was getting my master's, I was in a class, and my professor, the first day he asked us, "Who are you?" And everybody gave these, pretty generic answers that we generally give, "Oh, I'm a mom," or "I'm a wife," or "I'm a this." And he stopped and he said, "You know what? Stop. Come back to me at the end of this class." And I remember thinking really, really hard about that. Like, who am I? Like, what's so important to me? And I said, I'm the beginning of my legacy. By the end, I realized that, and that's what home ownership gives you. You can be the beginning of your legacy. You can be the beginning of teaching your children that it's attainable. We did this before. We did this. We had whole communities. Let's do it again. Let's believe in ourselves enough. Let's save enough. Let's focus on our credit enough. And let's get our home, not just a house, but a home. Let's get out here. Let's get together. And the biggest thing we need to do, one thing I love about the real estate business is there's many amazing people that I get to work with, but sharing that information. I think so many times we educate ourselves and don't educate each other. If I can educate you on what it's going to take credit-wise, because people think, well, I've had a bankruptcy, I can't buy a house. Or I have student loans, I can't buy a house. That's a lie. You can get a loan. You can. Now there may be some more details to that, but trust me, it is attainable. It is possible. Bankruptcies doesn't stop it. Student loans don't stop it. Divorces don't stop it. Even foreclosures do not stop you from purchasing a home. It just means, I tell my clients all the time, it's not denied, it may be delayed. Let's put a plan together to get us to that goal.
And that was going to be the next question, but you answered it. Is it attainable? Because you're a homeowner, I'm a homeowner. You've been a homeowner for years now. I believe this might be the 3rd home, because I've moved, from state to state and done some things in my journey. But so many people that we talk to, there are so many things in life that they don't believe are attainable. Their college degree.
Yes.
I was there when you graduated with your master's. It was you, it was LaPortia, it was Sean, all of you in the circuit clerk's office, all of you, single moms and working hard and in leadership and doing all these things. And all 3 of you were like, look, we going back, we getting our degrees, and each one of you graduated. And I remember sitting there with your program, seeing your name and Mama Cruz. And we were so proud. And so, but that's a perfect example of what so many people feel like you just said, divorces or children or, you know, whatever happens in life. We're like, oh, well, I can't do that now because I'm tarnished or I'm damaged goods or nobody's going to want to help me or nobody's going to want me. Whatever it is that we go through that we feel keeps us from something. And a lot of times it's us. What did you say? It's fear. Yes. We've all been there. What is it? Whatever it is, but you can do it. You can get your degree. You can graduate. You can do whatever. You can buy your house. Yes. And so tell us what that buying process is. Like a typical client that comes to you from phone call to finish. Yes. How do we get houses?
Absolutely. So it's so funny that you know, we talk about how a lot of times people come to me and they say, well, what's the toughest thing about real estate? And I'm like, the biggest challenge, the biggest hurdle I have come into is changing the mindset. Letting you know that it's possible. Once we get past there, I won't give any names, but I give a client I'll give a situation, for example. I had a client come in. She was a referral. Now, I had closed with a client, and that client referred this client to me. Loved her, and like now, she's gonna know who I'm talking about because we text. I just love her, and so. But when she came, her credit was a little bit more challenging, and she didn't think it was possible. So I said, okay, here's what we need to do. Let's look at. There's a few things that you always need when you're looking at purchasing a home. And another thing that people think you can't get a home is when you are self-employed. You can purchase a home. Now, get your affairs in order to do so, okay? We need 2 years of tax return. You want to be able to show that you filed tax returns for 2 years because they need to be able to see steady employment, right? You want to make sure that you have income documentation. If it's self-employment, then you want to make sure that you have proof of that income. You're going to have bank statements. And these are the things that I discuss even on the onset, because sometimes if you don't have all that in order, we can go look at 1 million homes, but you can't get to a closing table because all of this documentation is needed. You want to make sure that you also have some reserves. Sometimes you have those programs that can help you with your down payments and things like that. But a bank wants to see that you can have a little skin in the game. So I tell my clients, if you don't have anything saved, let's put a plan together to start saving. You want to make sure that you know what your credit score is. Be aware of that. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. I know lenders that can even get some clients in at a 580 credit score.
Wow.
So people are shocked to think that, oh, I have to have this 700. No, you don't. Does it change your interest rate and things like that? Absolutely. But you can keep renting and not get anything and not get any equity, or you can take some time and work on your credit to get it up. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a leap on faith. I'm going to go ahead with this 580 and I'm going to see what kind of interest rate I can get. But you want to be aware of your credit score. You want to know between 580 and 620 to 640 is ideal, and anything above that, of course. You want to make sure that you've been on your job. You have a certain job history. Generally, they do want about 2 years. So I tell clients it is possible with other lenders to have less time, but you want to be on your job at least 2 years so that you can show them 2 years of tax returns, or at least in that same industry. You don't want to show huge gaps of unemployment. So you want to look at your finances, you want to look at your savings, you want to look at your credit score, and then let's get that pre-approval. Let's find the right lender for you. We have some amazing lenders that I get to work with from Midwest Century. I've worked with Lisa Vaughn, who has done amazing work for me. I am now working with Chris Duncan. Amazing. So it's about finding that right lender too, because sometimes depending on what you have going, we also have Courtney Hoffman out there who works with those more challenging credit scores. Okay. So we sit down, we have a discussion, we look at the income, we look at what you want then. Once we know that we have all our ducks in order to paperwork wise, okay, I got a credit score, check. I have my income documents, check. I filed my tax returns, check. I got a little bit on reserves, check. I got that. Now, I want my home. Okay, Great. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you want in a home. And sometimes, sometimes we'll try and dream too small, and then sometimes we try to dream too big. So we have to have that conversation about what really works for you. Those must-haves and those I wish I could have.
The needs versus the wants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the needs are what I want to definitely try to get to. But I want to check out some of those wants too, because when we get to the closing table, I want you to say, Nicole was amazing. She was able to do all these things. And so my thing is first getting that mindset, because like I said, for whatever reason, well, I know why, because a lot of us weren't taught to think it was attainable. And sometimes when life kicks us down, we stay down in that mindset and we think home ownership isn't possible. But it is. Let's get our ducks in order. Let's check our credit scores. Let's look at our income. And then let's look at this market. Let's go looking at some houses.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Again, this is not my lane, but you see a lot of TikTok videos, for instance, about no pre-approval, or I want to show a house, and then the broker like jumps into the swimming pool, or they just, oh my God, that TikTok, because the person, I guess, has no pre-approval.
Yes.
So how do you all really feel about that?
Okay, let's just listen. Let's get those pre-approved.
Okay, I'm just checking, because I was like, I see so many of these TikTok videos. Well, y'all can tell I do a lot of TikTok, and I'm like, okay, because I've always had a pre-approval, right? And so, but I said, why do they hate that so much? So I said, I'm gonna ask.
Because we could be doing all this in vain.
Okay.
Because generally
that
a lot of
sense.
Time
is money.
Time is money. And then and let's be honest, not even just not wasting my time. I don't want to get your hopes up.
Okay.
I don't want you to go and find this amazing home that nobody's going to approve you to get, because we need to know what your buying power is. I mean, that pre-approval sets the tone for how we look, what we look at, Mm-hmm. We can look at all these different areas, but with that pre-approval, I know, okay, you can afford X amount of house, right? Okay. And I never try to max you at your pre-approval. I want you to get a great deal. Even in this market, you can still get a good deal. I know people tell you can't. You can. It is a very competitive market. I will not lie, but it is still possible to get good deals, because you have to realize homes are worth a lot more than they were at this point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have friends that have done very, very well with the selling of their home. But yeah, those pre-approvals, we need those because we need to know what direction we're going in. And a lot of times what the lenders are doing, they're all those things I talked about. They're looking at your credit score. Most of them, they know what kind of reserves you got. They know what kind of money you have, what your buying power is. It puts you in a position to give you direction instead of just floundering everywhere. Because if we go and we find this amazing house and then you say, okay, now I'm going to go see if somebody will approve me for it. And in this market, you can't be waiting. The houses, and that is, now if there's something I really want your listeners to know, quit giving all of us agents a hard time with this procrastination thing. This is not the market for procrastinating. It's just not. If you see it, you love it, let's go for it.
Let's put an offer in.
Got to put an offer in.
Because if not, tomorrow, somebody put their offer in yesterday. But you slept on it, and now you mad at Nicole or Angel because I was available for the offer yesterday.
I promise you. And the thing of it is, at the end of the day, I tell my clients, listen, in this market, make your first move your very best move. Make your first move your best move.
Okay, T.I., you'll make your next move. My next move gonna be my best move. Yes.
I mean, T.I. knew what he was talking about. I'm just saying. In that sense, he did. Yeah. But no, you got to go ahead and put that offer in. You don't want to wait. I have been at a showing and got a text saying, hey, we just took a contract on this. So that's how
that would hurt my feelings. If it was the house that I really wanted and I'm looking at it with you and then you get a text like, oh, it's sold. What?
But you know what? We are women of faith. So we know that whatever God has for you,
It
It's
is for
yours.
you. Yes.
It's yours.
Yes.
But I can relate to the frustrated buyer. I can relate to the buyer with, wondering, is this really attainable? I've been there. I was her. I remember when my husband and I, when we were looking to purchase a home together, and I'm like, ooh, my credit ain't, I don't know. You can get it. but I share that story with my clients. You know me. You know I'm a real transparent sister. Listen, because there is nothing in my life that I have to have shame over because I've overcame whatever, But I remember being that person. Even to the point after closing, being in my home, like, okay, so nobody's gonna come take this from me, right? Like this really is ours. So I can relate to that buyer that has that fear. I can relate to that person that had that challenge in credit. So guess what I had to do? I had to buckle down, right? I had to say, okay, can't go buy this. I can't go buy that. I need to pay this off. No shoes this week. The devastation of the not shopping, do what you have to do. Cut your hair off, girl, if you got to. I mean, mine was voluntary, but you get my point.
Yes.
Do what you have to get those savings in, because in the long run, that temporary sacrifice, the gain that you get in the end is amazing. I mean, seriously. You can go on Google, if you read my Google reviews and hear what some of the things that my clients are saying, it's because I believe in you. I believe that we can do this. Again, delayed is not denied. Just because you couldn't do it right then, that's okay. Let's put a plan together. And that's why I love working with the lenders that I get to work with, because they help say, okay, yeah, here they can't do this right now, but let's go this route and then we can get there. There's a way to get to the goal. There's a way to get to the finish line, and we can do it together.
That's awesome. So I don't have to read the Google reviews, because I already know from everything that you've been through with me and everything that you always are encouraging me through and loving me through. But in terms of choosing a broker, like, what should people look for in terms of, because that, like you said, that's in most people's terms, the largest purchase you'll ever make.
Yes.
And I think just like choosing anything else, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, you have to be particular with the person that's going to service you or provide that service. So what should people look for in a Nicole? Because you're not everywhere, okay?
I'm not.
Our political pearls in Florida and the Netherlands, but what should people look for in a solid broker?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, you want someone that cares about your purchase. With Renee Lewis Realty, we literally are always at your service. I believe in, I have clients that work third shift, right? And your realtor never really clocks out. They should never, that, in my opinion, sorry to my realtor sisters and brothers, but you all know, we don't clock out. You want someone that's going to be available. You want someone that believes in you getting your home. You want someone that's willing to answer the questions. And you don't want someone that thinks they know everything, because you need someone because there's always something in this that you may have to seek out some advice on. I have reached out to Star Harris before for advice on something. She's talked to me even though we're not with the same brokerage, we have that relationship to say, hey, I ran into this situation. You ever ran into this? So you want someone that's willing to reach across the table to get that help if they need it. You want someone that's educated about the market. You want someone that is going to be able to provide you that current market analysis so that how does my house compare to the other houses in the market? Should I bid more 10,000 over, or is it even going to appraise out? Because those are the things that are going to be important. You want someone that has a decent network, and you want someone who is literally going to see you from start to finish. And understand, though, sometimes that relationship may not work out. You may have to refer them to somebody else, and that's okay too. That's okay. But you want someone that's going to be dedicated. You want Renee Lewis Realty is who you want. And you want Nicole Brazil. But there are a lot of amazing agents out there I never take anything from them, because there's room for us all. And that's one thing that I love about what I do, that there is room for us all. I love to see a bunch of sisters getting together and, talking business, talking about elevation, not even just for ourselves, but for the community. Patrice Tucker and her husband, I mention names because they are amazing people, and they are people that I'm able to talk to in this industry that I have done business with. And I love that opportunity because everyone is taking the time, not just for ourselves, but we're trying to build our community. We're trying to elevate our culture, and we're trying to be available to change minds and create generational wealth. That's the end goal, that legacy and that generational wealth. And I want you to get you a broker that can educate you about the process so that when you get ready to make that next purchase, you're ready. Like, I got clients that when they refer people, you need to have 2 years edition. I mean, like, I guess I've said the script so much that they've already shared it with them.
They're sharing. And so that's one of the things that my wonderful podcast producer is always talking about, sharing the wealth.
Yes.
Like, sharing the information. There's no way that I could have put on a podcast, done any of the things that I've done without him sharing.
Absolutely.
I said him and the rocking horse. That's what I call him, rocking horse. The rocking horse. Okay. Yes. And so he's all about sharing.
Absolutely.
And so that's wonderful that you are imparting this knowledge and this understanding in people. And then when their girlfriend or their coworker, their church member's like, oh, I'm looking to buy a house. Oh, well, Nicole told me, you've been to my house. You was at my house warming. So this is what you need. So you need this and this and this. Yes. And that's how we build community, right?
Absolutely.
That's how we build each other, not trying to keep it for myself, but trying to share it with other people so that way we can build each other up.
Absolutely.
And ultimately build our community. So how do people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. You can reach me. You can call us anytime during the week. You can call us anytime, but you can also reach me on my cell phone. It's 618-616-6226. ReneeLewisRealty.com. We are on the internet as well. And Nicole Brazil, the broker, is my Facebook page. I had to think about it. But yes, my social media platforms. But I am literally, like you said, I'm always available. I'm always at your service. I look forward to helping any and everybody that I can in this home buying purchase. It's important that we support one another. So I'm here. Call me.
Okay. Will you come back?
Is that a real question?
I always have to ask, like you said. I was like, I didn't go directly into the how do we know each other because you really did start out kind of with how we knew each other. And I said, oh, well, she did that for me. So I'm not going to forget that question, though. Will you come back? So, of course, you will come back.
Yes.
I am so grateful that you came. I couldn't wait to start this financial literacy piece because home ownership, it's the beginning of so much.
It really is.
It is the beginning of so much because you know how you go out of town and you have fun and you do whatever, but you're like, oh, I can't wait to get home to my bed, to my house.
Yes.
Okay. And so it's just so much for our families being able to raise our children and just have memories. And it's just family.
Absolutely.
It is family. And so I thank you so much for coming. And I know you'll come back and it's just going to be wonderful.
It will. And it's just anything I can leave their viewers with. I just want to remind you, a 1 to 2 bedroom can cost you anywhere up to $1,300 a month. Mm-hmm. When you look at that over a term of 7 years, that's 6 figures. So you will have given over 6 figures to someone else for rent. Let's buy. Let's get our credit together. Let's sit down and get a plan together. And let's get you your home, not your house, but your home, so that you can call the John Lees and have them come in and redo it the way you want it and have it all to yourself and make it the way you want. So call me, call us at Renee Lewis Realty. I look forward to hearing from you.
And thank you for tuning in today to Pearls in Politics podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you'll join us again next week. In the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.